it also makes me wonder, is it a way, since COVID there's been a big thing about reinvigorating Australian manufacturing, our sovereign capability. Besides the simple stuff like, we're importing water from overseas and we're an alternative here, that's less carbon intensive. But has this whole discussion, do you think, really hit home on the opportunities for manufacturing in Australia? Because where else we're strong in agriculture, wine you mentioned, but what other sectors have we not really clicked and gone, shit, why are we actually importing that when we could be making it here, and there is going to be a future coming up because of the whole carbon neutral opportunity?
Yeah, I think there's, I think it hasn't just been the environmental push, but when you've had that sort of severe supply chain, COVID's obviously accelerated things, changed the dynamics or the price points, as well as just supply chain, overall international supply chain constraints, as well as international, when you're looking at international kind of tariffs, especially coming out of China or other countries, the potential impact of carbon sort of trade exposed sort of carbon tariffs you might see out of Europe. There's a whole bunch of pressures that I think are lending itself towards a reinvigoration of manufacturing here in Australia, I think, and a couple of our larger clients saw this coming 8 years ago and have been sort of preparing. They saw this and they'll, wouldn't have had, speaking to a large, retail-based but manufacturing-based business, and them going, it's a risk now to be manufacturing overseas. We're going to start looking local here again. I think, but in terms of which sectors are kind of making that push, I think food will probably continue to, amplify itself here. Medical based products just based on operational security. I mean, you speak to a lot of the health, I do a lot of work with New South Wales Government, New South Wales Health, this whole thing around we need to manufacture our supply chain here because there's a real risk if we get blockages or if there's another another kind of COVID, 10.0 or whatever it is where we're at now with variants or whatever it is, that's a real material risk now, and so manufacturing, especially in the medical space, where it feeds into critical services, is going to, so I think food, the medical space is going to matter a lot more now.
Is there any stats on food consumed in Australia and what % comes from Australia?
Probably years, I couldn't tell you what they are, but I think you'd see. I think part of that has to do with our palate. Like I think for a period of time we'll go and kind of Western American kind of get all that kind of stuff over here, and I think now we're starting to sort of appreciate our own uniqueness of food,
especially in South Australia.
Yep, spot on, mate. Spot on.
Nick, if you're going to sort of give advice to a business owner, two types, a startup, where are the opportunities for them in what you're seeing now? Because a lot of people out there are looking at maybe an opportunity out there. Like, what is the opportunity for them versus a company that's established and might be at a plateau and goes, you know what, if we don't make a move now, we might be a dinosaur in 5 years' time.
Well, I think the benefit of any startup, irrespective of industry, I mean, I'm always going to say, look, get into the circular economy and net zero space, because we need as many startups as possible with alternative solutions to get us to the outcome.
Right.
The benefit is the market is massive. It's like I've been in this field for 20 years, and I was not prepared, for example, of the uptick in our own demand the last 12 months. It's
and
just insane. You're in a different world now. So any startup that works in this kind of space is super exciting, right?